It's me again, and this time I'm doing a review of the Ogre Kingdom's Tyrant model that was released around 2005. And this is the original artwork on a box you would have seen. Not artwork so much as a photo of the model, but there is something artistic to it when you look at it with the mountain scenery that he is sitting in. I don't have a lot to say about this. I really like this period's style for boxes more than I do today's. I appreciate what Games Workshop does with the white boxes, but as nice as they look on a shelf, it's very boring. It's simply telling me to buy the product because it's nice. This is a story of who this Ogre Tyrant is, where he's from. So it's a different time period, different mindset from GW. And even though they were still big business back then, it's not like today. So they definitely were making their models and their sets with a different goal, I think. This being something they wanted to sell to, excuse me, sell to gamers, and today's boxes are designed, I think, just to sell. And again, I do think that on a shelf, those boxes look good and they're attractive. And for 2020, that's what people kind of want to see. Sorry, I'm taking a drink here of coffee on the side. This, though, is what I want to see. The new boxes, as nice as they are, there's no attachment to them. I open it, I throw the box in the garbage. This here, I'm going to keep the box, or at least cut this image out, clean it up, and I'm considering framing stuff like this. We'll see. Okay, so the side. This side here shows a different configuration. As you can see, different head, different arm, and a different gut plate. And there's a better image on this side of the weapon and the head. And I'll give a quick close-up view of the back here. You can see that the heavy metal paint scheme, which I do very much like, that this is what they considered heavy metal in around 2005. This is attainable and achievable, I think, for most painters, or at least something like it. And I think that's a big confidence booster for a lot of painters to see something like this and say, I think I can do that. Or, you know, after a year, even 2 years of painting, they get there. But a lot of the stuff that they see on the boxes now, I personally will never even get to that level, probably, on some of them. And I don't know if I'd ever even care to get to that level. I think some of them are just, they're beautiful, but they're not paint jobs I would ever put the time into achieving. I just want to play the game with nice models. Over here, you can see the construction options, the body, and there's 2 options for arms: 2-handed or 2 one-handed weapons, 2 heads, some Knobbler extras, and then the 2 gut plates. And this goes onto a 40mm square base. So I'm going to open this up now and pull it out. And the first thing we get is this Warhammer Miniatures Range mini catalog. Back then, they used to release annual catalogs of all of their stuff. But at this point here, what they would also do is give you a small catalog that would let you see kind of a broad spectrum of options. In this case here, if I can get the glare, there. I think that's good. You have the main starter box set, still 6th edition. Warriors of Chaos with their, Hordes of Chaos at that point, showing a few options. And then you've got Orcs and Goblins, Empire, High Elves, Tomb Kings, Bretonnians, and Dwarves, all of them showing a core choice and a hero. And I do think they're meant to show off what kind of hero is almost the norm. You know, the big orc, Grimgor in this case. This one here being a old Boris Todbringer Elector. And in fact, I'm looking at these. I don't know about the dwarves or the Bretonians. No, none of these are special characters. I think the orcs and the humans have special characters, and everybody else just has regular mages and fighters. Yeah. Anyways, it's a cool little piece to see. I like looking at these every once in a while and remembering that period. The back, contact information for your country. And then over here, you have paint sets that you could buy, how to paint, how to make wargaming terrain, which was a big deal. If you aren't aware, unlike today, they did not really have a lot of store-bought options. There were some very specific ones. There was graveyards, and there was a dwarven hold door. But there wasn't like big plastic kits. You know, there wasn't even at this point the manor house, the chapel, the tower. There wasn't this Temple of Skulls. They weren't doing the plastic kits yet. Not that I can think of anyways. This is maybe a couple of years away from the first plastic kits. As far as terrain went. Over here, advertising White Dwarf. I do actually think I have this White Dwarf somewhere. I might look in my collection and see if it matches. And then finally you have the old website, which again, just like the how to paint, it was full of that type of information. And I know the GW site today is just a store and they have the community page for the articles. But I think there was more available back then. And if you check out the Wayback Machine, it's a website that lets you see archived images of web pages. You can see what was available. And there was so many things on there. Besides a forum, there was also lots and lots of how to make terrain, how to convert models. And they weren't afraid of telling you how to basically save money. Because again, they didn't offer those things. And because that's a thing they do now, we don't get that as much. They will sometimes share how somebody made a custom piece, but it's pretty rare by comparison to when I first started. And I felt like, every couple of weeks, every month, there was some new how to make video, or not video, sorry, but article. And it was just a different time again. But it's one I do miss when it comes to Warhammer specifically. Into the set, if I can get it open here, we have the body. And if you see extra holes, that's because I've been prepping it for pinning. Really well detailed. But what I do like about Ogre bodies, whether they're basic or the fancy metal ones, overall they're the same. There's not much different here from a regular Ogre body other than the details, the fur trimming on the boots, the chainmail. The actual body, you know, it's just a heavy set fellow that you're going to put a gut plate onto. There's two options. This one's cool, but because I'm going to build the two-handed option, I don't think it'll fit. Or this one here. This is the one I'm going to be using, obviously, because I can't use the other. But it's pretty cool, too. And yeah, I feel like if you took a regular Ogre body and some green stuff, some milliput, you could basically add all the details you wanted and make something almost as nice as this. And the only real problem I have with these being pewter is, again, how much pinning I have to do. I've decided 2 pins per section other than the head, because the head has a pretty good fit. Here's that head I'm going to use. Just 1 pin should be enough to get this guy on there properly, because he does sit quite well. And then I will use some green stuff. Apologize about the camera. I'm trying to figure out where everything is kind of sitting as I do this, so I have to keep checking the camera to see what it's seeing. I'll find out about how to set up a second screen that I could watch on the side. So yeah, the body. It's a cool Ogre body, but to me it's just an Ogre body. That's one of the least interesting things here. again, if I can get it, the head I'm going to be using. It's very cool. I like his helmet. I like the armor on the helmet. This is a really fun piece. Two very heavily armored arms. And those arms go with this. And I really want to talk about this. This is my favorite piece in here. It's why I bought this whole kit. Excuse me. I wanted to have this model for years now because of this one piece. And to explain how big this is, first off, if you've never seen it up close, from where the foot hits the base, it's like 50% more his height, maybe even 75% more. This thing is huge. This thing here basically covers his midsection. But more importantly, if you take another model, human, you can see he's very big. This, on the other hand, is monstrous. This is the most, on a physical, not technical, but on a physical level, the most impressive weapon I think anyone, I wouldn't call him small, but smaller model carries. This thing has physical heft to it. This is sort of heavy. Not so heavy that somebody couldn't pick it up, but heavy enough that I do have multiple pinnings happening in the wrist and then into the hands themselves to make sure it's going to stay. This thing's amazing. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a coughing fit. Probably because I've been drinking coffee all day and my throat is irritated. And then we have these two weapons. They're also huge, as you can see. These are really big weapons. And on any other model, these would be great weapons to me, but for him, these are just two hand weapons. I don't know if there is an option for two great weapons in any edition, but if there was, this is the guy to have two great weapons. The first one, the hammer, again, just like the other arms, very heavily armored. The most heavily armored ogre arms I think there are. But it's just a big beast of a weapon. Big spike on the bottom. Big spike here. And a huge hammerhead with a tenderizing section. It's very difficult to get the thing in focus here. It doesn't want to focus for some reason. If I can find the right... Oh, I don't think I can get it focused because it is not a person. This one here is quite cool because it has this little knobbler riding it. Oh, I had it there for a second. That work? Yeah, there we go. Very flavorful. I like that there's the little knobbler appears to be tied to the weapon. I don't know if this is supposed to be one of those sword knobblers. I'm not certain how exactly he's helping you get a reroll, but it is nice to have something kind of lore flavored and rule flavored at the same time on the guy. And it's just one more thing that adds to him. Now that maybe I've got the focus going, I'm going to try this again. There we go. Yeah, it's a very cool hammer with a lot of detail. And the last things to look at here would be, again, I'll put them together actually. We've already looked at them, but just side by side, the two gut plates, which are pretty cool. The head I will not be using. I find it's a bit ugly, to be honest. If you saw him on the box, he's kind of melting looking, so he's quite fat. This guy here is very corpulent, I believe the word is. And I don't know. If I was making like a Chaos Ogre, he'd be pretty cool for a Nurgle head, I think. But I'm not, so I'm going to go with the other guy. But he does stand out, the other head, so I might still use him on a plastic bull body to make a bruiser. And here are the 2 Knobblers that come with him. This one appears to have either a Chaos or a Dark Elf sword. I'm not sure which. He's dragging that broken sword behind him. And there's nothing much to see on him other than that. And then this guy here is tied up and being pulled behind, trying to stop it, but he's tied at the ankle and being dragged behind. So that's a cool little extra piece too. So that's the Tyrant model set that you would get 15 years ago or so. And I don't know if this was ever made to Finecast. I'm pretty sure it was. But despite the size and the weight of him, I wouldn't want him in Finecast. And not because Finecast isn't good material, and it's not. But because the weight of this. There is something... It fits the Ogre Kingdom range to have a Lord that weighs this much. And when it's all built, I might just weigh it on a scale to see how much he actually weighs. And I like that about their metal models. Their metal characters specifically. They weigh a lot. And when you're holding them, they have a heft to them that, not just for the game, but for the value. Today's characters can be $30, $40 easily, and they're very light plastic. To pay $30, $40, even $45 for this guy, I feel like there's more value here. So that's also a nice touch of the metal, that it feels like it's worth the value more than the plastic is. I'm going to stop there just because I'm going to start rambling. Again, any suggestions you can give me, I would totally take them. I'm new to this, and I'm not a very good public speaker. So this is something new for me in many ways. Thank you for your time, and have a great day. I have some more coming, and I'll post those up soon.